Hey, Michelle here from Sensate Soul and the Soul Translator, coming to you from the river, under the bridge, on my morning walk with my Mr. Ollie, who's over there. And I wanted to share today briefly something about boundaries, and particularly for HSPs and empaths, and also creative entrepreneurs. But this also applies to anybody who has challenges with boundaries. And a quick story here. Recently I went to a yoga class, and I used to do hot power yoga. I went to this class because I got a birthday coming up, and I kind of went into the whole I want to get super healthy, which I do, but an old part of me showed up and wanted to get into a little bit more of the boot camp drill sergeant kind of style of okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have this big plan, and you're gonna blah 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 and all that stuff. And although that is if you have that part as well, it can be really strong, and it has a positive side, but sometimes it can be that kind of intense internal drill sergeant can be really annoying and really push us to the point where it's not healthy. So this is what happened. So I went to this yoga class, and I have never left a yoga class in my life, but I left this one because it was so hot in there. It was way beyond my capacity. It was also aggravating my body. I was not a happy camper in this class. As a woman, it just was too much. And I left. And I realized afterwards that, like I had shared, there was this part of me that was really okay, you're going to, let's whip that butt into shape. It was I was in over my head. And the learning of it for me was how afterwards that boundary, a boundary needed to be set with that part of me, that whenever I want to make a change, I can go into this kind of overdrive, boot campy, in the negative way, because there's a positive side of it as well, kind of intensity. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. So having shared that story, here I want to offer a little nugget, something new for you to chew on about what really is going on with boundaries and what's possible. So when you really tune in, boundaries are about self-empathy, aren't they? Because we want to feel a certain way. We want to feel empowered. We want to feel confident. We want to feel connected. We want to feel like we're taking care of ourselves. We want to have a sense of, self-efficacy, like we follow through with the things that we say we're going to do. We want to rely and trust on ourselves. We want to rely and trust with others. So we're going after really a feeling. And empathy is all about resonating with feelings and being able to tune in and sense and trust and connect with those feeling states and with the thoughts and emotions and everything that's behind it. So empathy truly is emotional connection, emotional expansion, emotional even regulation to a certain extent. So here's another little side of this. If you think about visualization and manifestation, what do? We go into feeling it. It's not just seeing it and picturing it and writing things down. There's a lot of different tricks to manifestation. But the thing that everybody says, and which I totally agree, that creates that reality matching our desires is because we feel what it would feel like to have it, to be it, to do it. And then, of course, there's the big action part that is really important, equally important, if not more important, because that's when we're actually working with moving the energy or attracting the energy. But this part about boundaries is really it's when you think about boundaries in the way of like they are self-empathy, whether it is with ourselves or others, like my situation in the yoga class. It was self-empathy to have the boundary around, you know what, Michelle, this is not the right way for you to take care of yourself. This feels too intense. This feels too critical even, criticism-wise. How about something that is more joyful, more loving, that feels more happy, that feels better, that I can still get into shape and do it in a loving and empathic way with myself, instead of pushing myself into feeling things that I don't want to feel, or pushing myself into feeling, overriding my feelings and going like, okay, no, we're going to do this intense yoga and we're going to whip your butt into shape. So if you think about boundaries as self-empathy, it will, I do trust, change the relationship to them, and also the importance of them. To feel your boundaries and to respect them is to respect yourself. So if you'd like more help with boundaries, come on over to Sensate Soul and you'll find some resources there for that, as well as let me know what you feel about this idea of boundaries being self-empathy. And give this video, if you liked it, a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take so much care.